Faces and Places. Faces and Places podcast.
Hello everyone, it's Faces and Places podcast and welcome. That's the podcast where we're telling you inspiring stories of interesting people. And our today guest is amazing Amalyia. She's a jewelry maker, and today we will get to know the story how she became a jewelry maker. Okay, so I think we can start our podcast. First of all, I'm really glad that you agreed for that, and
thank you.
I mean, when I choose like guests for the podcast, I'm just trying to catch the vibe like from the Instagram, and basically I've just seen the advertisement. Algorithms worked very well. So like I've seen the advertisements from your Instagram, and I just catch that vibe because I'm also big fan of jewelry stuff, and then I've decided like to text you and invite you to be our guest.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again. And I can see an amazing jewelry now on you. It looks amazing.
Thank you. I don't even notice it. It's just, I wear it all the time. Only rings. I take my rings off because sometimes they're too big, but everything else I wear all the time.
Wow.
So where are you from? You from Russia?
No, I'm from Belarus.
Belarus.
But I live in Poland, and now I'm doing my Erasmus in Turkey. It's a bit
How long have you
complicated.
been in Turkey?
Basically, it's my second month already.
How do you
Yeah.
like it?
It's very cool, very interesting. I'm not sure if I can live here, for example, forever.
What's the place that you stay in?
I live in Eskişehir.
And where is that?
It's like 3 hours from Istanbul.
Is it on the coast or is it more towards east of Turkey?
It's more north.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
What's the weather like today?
It's 1 degree and there is snow.
No.
Yes.
Today is so sunny, and that's why I told you earlier, can we do it at 11 o'clock so I can leave and make most of the sunshine?
Yeah, like you, because I mean now there is some sunshine, but 2 days ago the weather was like 15 degrees, and then suddenly on Wednesday it was like 3 degrees or like even 2, and it was snowy. So I'm pretty surprised with the weather.
Yeah, here also has been changing a lot in Istanbul. It's been sunny and rainy, and because I think it's changing now. It's going to be, when I leave Istanbul, I'm sure it's gonna be so warm.
Could you tell more about, to our followers, to people who are listening, to your followers as well, because I think they don't know a lot of information about you. So like, where are you from? What's your background, and where do you live now?
So start with the last. Now I live in England. I live in a little city town called Bournemouth on the south of England. Been there for a long time, 9 years now. But I'm originally from, I'm born in Macedonia. Now it's called North Macedonia. I come from a very mixed background. My mom, she's Iranian. Well, she's born in Iran. Her dad, my granddad, he's Azerbaijani and Iranian. My grandmother, she's Iranian, Armenian. And my dad is Macedonian. They met in Iran, and then they fell in love, got married, and then they moved to Macedonia. I've also lived a little bit in Istanbul, so I've been I've lived in Iran.
Of the world.
I forgot. Yeah, I lived in Iran. And then about 9 years ago I moved to England.
Wow, that's awesome. Like such a mixed blood, yeah?
Yes, very mixed.
I remember you also did your DNA test, right?
Yes.
You showed that on
Yes.
Instagram,
Yes.
and you said that you inspired also by ancient Silk Road and Istanbul.
Yes, that's where I get most of my inspiration from. It's the nostalgic feeling. What you get inspired most is, I think, memories from childhood. So where I grew up and the places I've visited, it's always, and it's also coming from such a mixed background. We always have a feeling of longing, like you miss your family that lives in a different part of the world. So it's always that feeling when you miss something so much that makes you that's how I pour it into my jewelry. So all the little things that remind me of where I grew up, of the little symbolic things. It's what I put into my jewelry.
Yeah, it's amazing to use art, to use creativity, and put it in some way, as you said,
Yes.
when you miss something, or like when there is something inside and you just explode it, you just put it on something, and I
Yes.
think people around also can feel it much stronger.
Yes, and it's always for me very nice and surprising that, because when I started making jewelry, I made pieces of jewelry that I personally loved, and I was never driven, is this going to sell? I've never attended any business. I don't even know what they're called. Not meetings, but like courses, or I've always followed, everything has been intuitively. So I've never set out to sell jewelry. It's always, I love this piece, I'm just going to put it out there. It's a personal journey. So, and every single piece is created like that. It just tells my personal journey.
Because my second question was, how did you know that you want to do this job? Basically, you gave the answer that it was very intuitive, right?
Yes, very intuitive, and like I said, it's where I grew up. I don't know if it's the same in Belarus, but like in our countries, everything is driven by like tradition. Everything is like handed down from our ancestors, like wisdoms and ways of life, and also ways of living, like crafts, for example. So it's very prevalent in where I from. Where, so if you I don't know, have you been to Istanbul? I'm pretty sure where we are
Yes.
in Turkey as well. If you walk around, a lot of shops, you will see inside artisans making crafts, making things. So for me, that fills me with so much joy when I see artisans. They have their things, their work on a display, and then on the back you can hear hammering their work, and they're making their stuff. So I personally love that so much, and that in Iran, you can see that everywhere. So for me, seeing something made by hand had so much more value, and I was fascinated by that. And when I was living in Macedonia, there was one tiny little shop that was Indian, and I went inside and everything was handmade, and I felt like magic inside, and I was like, wow, I would love to know how they make jewelry. I would love to learn this craft. And
So
did
you
thing
learn
led to
it?
another. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, did you learn it like when you was a teenager, or when the story started?
Yes, a bit older. No, it wasn't. I mean, I don't know what it's like in Belarus, but where I grew up, you kind of. I think maybe things have changed now, but when I grew up, unless they tell you, your parents, your society, and everything, that you pretty much can't make a living of your hobby and of your dreams. you have to follow a certain path, you have to follow a career, finish your university, get an office job, and that's the only way you can make a living. So your dreams are for dreaming. A reality is a totally different thing. So when it's so ingrained in you that that's the only way you're going to make a living, you just follow that path. So I did follow the normal route, and I did work an office job, but I was very deeply unhappy. I felt like in a cage. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are content with that type of job. Like my sister, for example, she could never do what I'm doing. So she likes the kind of corporate life. She likes the dressing up for office, going to office, which I understand. But for someone that is creative, I think that's can be really difficult thing to do. You get this suffocating feeling. I can't even explain it. I'm so happy I'm out of that.
I mean, you explain it 100% resonating with what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, and also that's the reason why we're doing that podcast and why we're doing the podcast with people who are a bit out of box and who gain the success, which it's kind of also like very subjective word, right? What is success?
Yes.
But who gain the success and who really enjoy life doing what they feel to do, what they want to do. So yeah, thanks for sharing with your feelings. It's very important. And so where did you learn that? Was it that Indian shop?
No, so that in the Indian shop, that was when I was in my early teens, and that was just a wish, and it just stayed there, a little dream on the back of my head. But it wasn't until I think I got when I was living in England a few years ago, when I was doing an office job. Obviously, I come from a country where the weather is really nice, so I'm used to kind of like a Mediterranean type of climate. It's what I strive in. And I was living in England, it was winter, I was working an office job, and for me it was kind of rock bottom, and I was like, it can't get lower than this. I have to make a drastic decision now, because otherwise I can't continue this. So I just made I wasn't even thinking, I was just like, what makes me happy? Istanbul makes me happy. It always has. So I was like, I'm just going to book a plane ticket. I booked a plane ticket and I just went, and I have many friends here. I've got cousins that live here. So I kind of, it's not a course, a jewelry course, but it's kind of like a workshop where they teach how to make jewelry. It's like a school, like a jewelry school, and so I went and I went there and went to learn how to make jewelry, basically. So yeah, that was my journey into how to make jewelry.
Awesome. So everything starts from Silk Valley, right?
Yes.
All the roads are bringing to Istanbul.
Yeah, and in Istanbul, that's right. And I think that's where the Silk Road ended also. Or was it in Venice? I can't remember. It could be both.
Yeah, I'm also not sure, honestly. You were mentioning that you didn't follow the business idea or something, and I've got a question. What does it mean to be a craft woman in the age of mass market and artificial intelligence, when everyone can buy a cheap jewelry and handcrafts are, I don't know, like for me it's kind of popular, but I think overall, maybe it's not that popular. So what does it mean for you being a craft woman in that age? Not age, but in that times.
Yeah, I never really put thought into that side of things because it's not my world at all. So I don't follow that world, and I don't know that much about artificial intelligence and that, like mass production. I have never been drawn to that. I know it's out there, wherever you go outside you can see it, and obviously the adverts, but it just never captures my mind. So I never used to buy that type of jewelry. So what I make is, I don't know much about that. So it's not, I don't know.
Okay, that's also, I can also consider it as an answer, because I also feel that at the time of artificial intelligence and mass market, at the same way, such authentic things are very, very popular as well, because people want to be different, and that's what's making them different, right?
Yeah, could be. And I do have a sense that in the last few years, the handmade market, I suppose, is growing a lot. People are becoming more conscious, and they're willing to invest more and also wait, which when I first started Amalyia, I never thought that, because like you said, everything is fast paced, people are buying this like instant pieces. I never thought that people would be willing to wait for the jewelry to be handmade and then for it to arrive. Like, my jewelry takes me roughly sometimes more than 8 weeks to be handmade, and customers are willing to wait, and for me that's amazing. I'm forever grateful for that. They're still willing to buy and wait, and they're happy to wait. So yeah, I think the things are shifting towards more conscious buying for sure.
Yeah, I agree. How does the process look like? Which metals are you using? It's mostly silver?
Yeah, so everything is, I only work with sterling silver and precious and semi-precious stones. I source most of it in Turkey. I work with the family, the lapis lazuli particularly, and probably the turquoise. They work with families that basically source the lapis lazuli. Yeah, everything is kind of in close contact, so I know where everything comes from, which is really good. So yeah, everything is sterling silver, and stones are lapis lazuli, my favorite.
It's the name of the stone, right?
Yes, the blue one, this one.
Oh wow, it
wearing.
Looks amazing.
You probably can't see it maybe too well.
Yeah, I can see that there is something on the ring as well, right?
Yeah, it's engraving of a sheep.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh my god, it looks amazing. It's making me upset because I'm a ring lover as well, and I can't imagine my hands without rings. When I do something, I have to have rings on my hands.
You wear silver as well.
Yes, I'm a silver person. I feel that I didn't maybe grew up for gold yet, or it's just not my metal.
I do like gold, to be honest. I think I prefer silver now. I mean, I'm changing. One day I'm like, I love gold, one day silver. But yeah, I'm both gold and silver. I like both.
And how long, by the way, does it take to make an average ring?
Depends on each piece. It's different. So, for example, this part is carved from wax. Then you have to send the wax to a place where they will turn into silver ring. Then that one comes back to me, and then I will have to set the stone. So it's a process. It's quite a slow process that requires a time. Some pieces are quite simple. The most simple piece can be maybe half an hour to an hour to be made. But it's also the steps of, like, once you finish a piece, then comes the polishing part. For me, the polishing part, I think, is the most hard because, it's easy, but you polish it and then you're thinking, oh, it's done. And then you clean it and then you notice little scratches and then you go back and then you polish again and then you clean it and then, have to go back again. So it's quite a long process from start to finish. It takes quite a bit of time.
So, okay, yeah. How, by the way, did you start to promote yourself, and how do you usually promote your craft? Is it only like via Instagram or?
To be honest, I'm really bad at promotion or anything to do with promoting jewelry. I only do it via ad, because I'm quite an introvert person to people that they don't know me. So I'm not really comfortable pushing my jewelry and advertising, and so I'm so happy that there is a feature on Instagram where you can just press ad. So that's the only way I've been making my jewelry reach the audience. But I would like to explore more, like giveaways and stuff like that. But it's only via Instagram ads so far.
So being an introvert, is it a reason because why you are not showing your face on social medias?
That is partly a reason, but also I would like people to have imagination of not put a face on Amaylia. I want everyone to be able to associate themselves with the jewelry. So that's why if you scroll on my Instagram, you would not see a model in my pictures. The only model has been my mom and no one else, because I would like everyone to be able to picture themselves with the jewelry. So I don't want to put a face. That has always been the reason why I've never put my face or other models for that reason.
Wow, honestly, it's an amazing idea that everyone can be a part of it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the reason why I've done that is because if, for example, when I'm looking at other Instagram pages, and whether it's a clothing brand or jewelry, and I see all these different models, sometimes I don't associate myself with them, so I can't really think, how that would look on me. But if there is no face, you can use more your imagination and you can picture yourself with those items. That's just how I see it.
Wow.
Maybe I'm totally wrong, but that's just how I feel.
That sounds amazing. I already want to be a part of it. Okay, and basically the last question, is this business is profitable, or it took time, for example, to become profitable?
The first year, I would say it wasn't. I was barely making any sales. I was still working an office job, and I remember it took 2 to 3 months to sell one piece of jewelry. And I remember I was thinking to myself, maybe my jewelry is too niche, maybe it's too not different, but people can't associate themselves. And then I had moments of doubts where I was thinking, maybe I should make a jewelry that is more trendy, because if I want to make a living off my hobby, maybe I should start following that route. But I'm so happy I didn't. I deep down believe, I loved what I was making. So I thought to myself, I'd rather make what I love. And then if I don't make a living out of it, so be it. At least what I'm making, it's what I enjoy. And then COVID hit, and I was able to focus fully on my jewelry. And that's when the turnaround happened for me, where it started becoming profitable. So now I'm making a living out of it, and not just myself and other artisans that I work with, luckily.
Wow. So after the things you've said, maybe you can also just say what you feel like about, maybe you just can give an advice, like how you feel about when you like doing something, but for example you don't get the profits, like for people who are struggling, what to do in their life. Should they follow their dream, or
I would say definitely, because if you have that desire, I think there is a reason why you have that desire inside. So don't bury it. My biggest advice would be, and this is just personally, don't ever go for the financial gain. I think that's where you will lose. If you think of it just, I want to gain financially, I personally don't think it will last. Or it might last. Obviously there are businesses that are striving, but I'm not sure if they're happy, because at the end of the day, what every one of us wants is to be happy and fulfilled and to have a purpose. And if you're just chasing that financial freedom and just money side of things, I always say to my friends, what are you going to do with all that money? Going to take to grave with you? You just have to enjoy the life now. And even if it doesn't bring you so much money, but at the moment it makes you happy, you are living life however you want, you're spending times with your friends and family. Also, that is very important. I will see like other brands grow much quicker or gone further than Amaylia, but I always think, what have they sacrificed, and am I willing to sacrifice that? Because for me, spending times with my friends and family is a very big part. I'm not willing to sacrifice that for more money. And that's just how I see it. Because at the end of the day, life is too short, and you just have to see what matters most to you.
Wow, it's such an amazing advice. I mean, it's completely resonating with me, and I'm almost like crying. So thanks a lot for what you said. I think it didn't touch only my soul, but the soul of listeners. Because
hopefully
it was really something what, for example, I needed to hear, because I'm on the point now where I'm becoming so sensitive, but where I'm trying to focus on money, because I think that's like it will give me more happiness, but at the same time I understand it's not like that. Basically, I don't know, interviewing people and creating something, that's what really give me happiness. And
exactly, I think you should just follow that, and everything else will fall into place. You might not know how, you might not see the full picture. I definitely, and I'm still can't see the full picture ahead, but just one step at a time. Just follow your intuition, do what feels right, and things will fall into place.
Thanks a lot for listening to this podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram for more inspiring content and podcast, and hope to hear you very soon. Bye bye.